Did you know that over 52% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency? And in a recent study, it found that of those 52% of Americans, over 1/3 of them would actually go into debt and borrow the $1,000 in order to cover that emergency expense. And now, whether that's a check engine light coming on in a car, an appliance going out, or just some other big life expense, you know, I believe I have boiled it down to 7 habits that people do in their everyday life, and they don't realize it because it's become second nature to them, guys. But I boiled it down to those 7 habits, and if you want to break free of the financial poverty that has been plaguing your family for such a long time, or even if you're just learning to expand your financial knowledge, I'm really glad you showed up to this video, and I know you're going to get some great value out of this video, guys. So I highly recommend you watch it all the way to the end. And hey, if you wouldn't mind clicking the subscribe button and liking it, because it helps promote my videos to other people here on the YouTube platform, and it lets me know what you guys want to see. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or any recommendations for a video, comment down below and let me know. The first thing on this list of 7 that I believe are keeping the everyday Americans poor is eating out too much, guys. Now listen, in America here specifically, it's huge in our culture of having someone else do something for you. I mean, I'm just gonna say it, and this may upset some people, but I feel like Americans are a little lazy sometimes, guys. And hey, it is what it is, you know, but we're used to having someone else do everything for us, and that includes cooking. And there is such a premium on eating out, guys. There is such a huge premium on eating out. And these fast food businesses are making so much money off of Americans, guys. There's a reason. There is a reason that there's a McDonald's on every corner, that there's a Starbucks on every corner, guys. And in a recent study, it actually found Americans spend between $2,000 to $3,000 a year just on eating out. Now, if you would take that number 2,000 and divide it by 364 days, guys, you get around $5 a day. $5 a day you could be saving by simply not eating out, guys. You can invest that into the S&P 500. You can use it to pay down debt. You can use it on your mortgage. You can use it to send your kids to college. There is an endless amount of things that you could use this for. Now listen, I'm not saying don't have any enjoyment out of life, guys, because I believe in spending some money on eating out. I like to eat out. I love Chipotle, guys. Trust me, if anyone on here knows me personally, you know I love Chipotle. But there's a fine line between eating out and eating out just because you want to eat out, guys. Now listen, if you just want to eat out and you want to go blow all your money and you don't care about building wealth, you don't truly care about building wealth, well, first off, this video is not for you guys. But listen, if you want to build wealth, you can't just be spending all of your money, because every single dollar is like a worker, guys. Whenever you get a dollar, treat that dollar like a worker. When you go spend it on eating out, you are quite literally firing that dollar, guys, rather than putting it to work or, you know, investing it and just letting it compound over time, guys, and truly putting that dollar to work. And if you want to keep living the same life that you've been living, don't change it. But that's not why you clicked on this video. You clicked on this video because you want to change your life, guys. And if you truly want to change your life, the first thing you have to do is you have to stop eating out, or at least stop eating out all the time. Eat out in moderations. Maybe only do it like me and my wife. Maybe only eat out on a Sunday. Maybe only eat out on a Friday night. What have you guys, whatever you need to do, that's the first thing you need to do, is reduce the amount you spend on eating out. Now listen, guys, I know I may upset a few of you here, and hey, it's not my job to hold your hand and walk you through life, guys, but I do have a little bit of an obligation to call some of you guys out. And I know a lot of my friends, especially around my age, guys, it's really popular to do this next thing. And number 2, guys, is drinking alcohol. Guys, you have to stop drinking alcohol. You got to stop it. It's literally poison for your brain, guys. It's absolute poison for your brains. And A lot of people around my age, a lot of my friends, guys, you know, they like to drink alcohol. We're young, you know. We got the rest of our life ahead of us to build wealth. Whatever, Dalton, you know what I mean? Well, listen, you know, sure, you have the rest of your life to build wealth, but did you know that your 20s are prime time for compound interest, guys, because the money that you put in the market today is going to stay in the market for the longest. It's going to stay in there for 30 years. It's going to stay in there for 25 years, whatever have you. Now, listen, on average, I just asked this to my Alexa, guys. On average, Americans spend $872 per year on alcohol. Now, that may not seem like a lot of money, guys, but what really gets you is the next day when you're hungover. The next day when you're hungover, the amount of money that you're losing out on is just unimaginable, because you'll never know what your full potential for that day could have been, guys. If I would have drank alcohol last night, you think I would be making this video right now? You think I would be making this video right now and doing all the other work that I have done throughout the day? The answer is no, I wouldn't be able to, guys, because I wouldn't have the energy to do it. I just wouldn't have the energy to do it because I would be hungover. I would not feel good. I would feel groggy, you know. And not only that, drinking alcohol, it can turn into a serious addiction, guys. You know, I know some people personally who have struggled with that addiction. Hey, if you are struggling with that addiction, I sympathize with that. And, you know, I seriously recommend getting some help. But if you're just a casual drinker that is drinking every now and again, you got to cut it out, guys. And now listen, just like with eating out, I'm not completely opposed to this. I myself occasionally enjoy a drink on New Year's or on the 4th of July, whatever have you, guys. But I'm not going out every week spending 15, 20 bucks on a pack of beer. I don't even know how much that stuff costs because I don't even buy it. I'm sure it's more than that. But I'm not going out there and I'm not buying any alcohol. I'm going to keep number 3 short and simple, guys. And that is simply not paying yourself first. If you watch this channel, you know how big I am on paying yourself first, guys. And that is because most people, when they get a paycheck, whether it's from their employer, whether it's from a 1099 that they do, if you're a Walmart Spark driver, if you're an Uber driver, a DoorDash driver, whatever have you, guys, when most people get paid, by the end of the week, that check is gone and they're just waiting for the next pay cycle, guys. But what I recommend doing, and what a lot of people do, a lot of people who end up building serious wealth in their life, is they pay themselves first. And what that pretty much means is just like another monthly bill, guys, just like another monthly bill, you're investing a certain amount into your retirement, you're putting a certain amount aside for savings and an emergency fund, which we will talk about later in this video. And you're also strictly budgeting your finances in order to align with paying yourself first. And you're doing this right when you get that check, guys. And most people will not do this. And this is, out of all the things on this list, this may be the one thing that you don't do aside from quit drinking alcohol. But most people won't do this, and that is because it's just not that popular of a concept. Many people say, well, I gotta, pay my bills first and pay this. Well, listen, if you pay yourself first and you invest into your future and you truly take care of your older self, as people have said in the past, and as I have said in the past, the only person responsible for taking care of your older self and the best person is your younger self, guys. And that is the best, the best truth. People rely on their kids to take care of them in their older years. And that's just something I never agree with. So if you don't want to have to rely on your kids in your older years, guys, you have to pay yourself first. The 4th thing that I believe is keeping most people poor is keeping up with the Joneses, guys. And if you don't know what keeping up with the Joneses is, it's just an old wise saying that is, let's say you have a neighbor, the Joneses, and they pull up in a brand new Tesla, a brand new Corvette. Name any expensive car, guys. Teslas are actually getting kind of affordable. But if they pull up in a brand new car, subconsciously, you're going to want to go get that new Corvette. You're going to want to go get that new pair of shoes. You're going to want to, match them and keep up with the Joneses, quote unquote, guys. And that is what most people end up doing. They fall victim to this. And see, the thing is, most people can't afford it, guys. And I have no problem in admitting that in my life, I have some nice things. I have this place here, which I absolutely love, but my clothes, most of my clothes are old. They're from Goodwill, where I could get them cheap. My phone that I'm recording this video on right now, it's my sister's old phone that I just bought from her because my old one broke. And most of the things that are in my life are just hand-me-downs because I'm not always going out there and getting the new iPhone. I'm not always going out there and getting a brand new car. I'm not always going out there and just getting the new and the best, guys. I'm content with having a little bit of an older phone or maybe a older car that is still reliable, of course. I'm not saying don't get something that is not reliable, but I'm not out here keeping up with the Joneses because in reality, the Joneses may be $100,000 in debt when my net worth may be $500,000 in the positive, guys. So who's really winning in that situation? So if you want to keep staying poor, go ahead and keep up the Joneses, guys. But for me and everyone else, we'll be over here on the winning side. The thing that you may not be doing that is keeping you in this cycle that is keeping your family in poverty for potentially generations, guys, is delaying gratification, guys. This may be something that you're not doing. And pretty much what this means, it goes back to the other step of paying yourself first, guys. When you pay yourself first, you're delaying the gratification of that money. So say when you invest this money, you could go take that money that you just invested, that you just used to pay yourself first, and you could go eat out. You could go get a new pair of shoes. You can go do whatever you want with this money, guys, and you'll feel happy. You'll feel joy and dopamine from spending this money right away. However, when you delay that gratification and you put that money to work instead of using it right away, it can build some serious wealth over time, guys. The stock market returns 8 to 10% on average, over the span of 30 something years, right? And so when you put this money to work and you delay the gratification, it ends up building some serious wealth. And a lot of people out there don't do this. A lot of people out there, the culture nowadays is me. I need the new tech. I need the new, iPhone. I need the new, whatever it is, guys, whatever it is. People are ordering stuff off of Amazon every single day. Whatever it is, you have to delay gratification if you want to build wealth. It's just part of the process. You got to make sacrifices, guys, and you have to delay gratification. Number 6 goes back to what I talked about in the very first minute of this video. And that is that 52% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency. And that is because they aren't building an emergency fund. They aren't building an emergency fund. And if you don't have an emergency fund and you're trying to get out of debt, you're trying to build wealth for your family, honestly, guys, you may not be able to do it. And it will definitely make it a lot harder for you to do it because most emergencies can be covered with an emergency fund. If you have over $2,000 to $3,000 in an emergency fund, it can usually be covered. Dave Ramsey, he says to have $1,000 in there. I don't believe that. I tend to recommend for most people, have at least 3 months of your monthly expenses, guys. That way, if you lose a job, if you get into some serious trouble, like God forbid, a car accident or a serious medical issue, guys, you're able to go out of work for 3 to 6 months and not really have to worry about it right away. Of course, you're going to have to worry about it. Of course, you're going to be stressing, but you can rest easy at night knowing that if you would lose your job, that you have 3 months, you have 6 months in order to get back together and to get back on the table. And of course, you're not going to be risking this money, in high risk investments, but put it into a high yield savings account. I recommend Capital One. I'll put a link down below in the description. Go check it out. I think they're starting out right now at 3.85% interest rate. So you will earn a little bit of interest on this money, and you'll also have an emergency fund, which is very, very crucial if you're going to want to build wealth. This final one is very, very crucial. And that's why I saved it for the last part of the video, guys. And that is simply, most people out there are not budgeting. And you know, this is like finances 101, guys. I stress this in almost every one of my videos. You have to have a budget. And I'm not talking about a budget on like the Every Dollar app. I'm not talking about a budget on, you know, any of these apps on your phone, these budgeting apps on your phone. I mean, sit down at the kitchen table every month or every week if you have to, every 2 weeks, whatever works for you. Find something that works for you. Sit down, open your app on your phone, your bank app on your phone, and write down what came in, write down what came out, write down how much money you have left over, if any. You may not have any money left over and you don't even know it. So you got to find out what's coming in and what's going out, and you got to write down your expenses. You got to figure out a way to make it positive, get that positive cash flow coming in every single month for your own personal finance, guys, and your own personal bank account. And most people aren't getting into their bank account and writing everything down at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. And when you ask them, where did all your money go? Oh, I don't know. You know, I made a few big purchases this year. Well, no, you actually spent $700 eating out in the last 2 months. And they just don't know that, guys. And so you absolutely have to write down every single month. You have to have a written budget. If you're married, you got to do this with your spouse, guys. I don't care if one of you are in charge of the finances. I don't care if, oh, that's my wife's job, that's my husband's job. He takes care of the bills, she takes care of the bills, whatever. You guys have to be on the same page. It doesn't matter if another person controls the majority of the finances. You guys both have to be on the same page, and you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it out together. If you're alone, it may be a little bit easier because all you gotta do is get in there, and you have to get a written budget. Hey, I really hope this video brought you value. And hey, like I said in my previous video, I'm trying to improve 5% every single video that I upload. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I recently got a new phone. So I really hope the audio quality and the video quality is much, much better in this video. Let me know in the comments if you noticed the difference. And hey, if you watched all the way to the end, not if you skipped all the way to the end, if you watched all the way to the end, comment sock water. Why not? That's a random thing that I could think of. I think I actually said that in one of my other videos, but hey, comment sock water if you watched to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next.